Did you have an idea of what you wanted to do?
I knew I wanted to do something in business. I forgot which class I was in, but one of the many business classes I took at the University of Denver. And I remember that they showed us a video of a company, and what this company did was they were hired as consultants to think of innovative ideas to solve complex problems, whether if it was product-oriented, service-oriented, and I was fascinated. I was always fascinated about solving problems, not because of the money, but because of the satisfaction that people get, the smile that they get on their face when you help them solve a problem or fulfill a need that they have. So I always had this entrepreneurial spirit, if you will. One of my most successful businesses, shall I say, was the candy store that I started in Saudi Arabia. Now, I can't take credit for being the first one to think of this idea. I saw other people selling American candy because they really didn't have a lot of American candy back then. So whenever we would travel to the United States, at the time, you used to have as an economy passenger 2 checked-in bags for free, and not 52 pounds, 72 pounds a piece. So we went to a big store when we were visiting Chicago, bought up over 140 pounds of candy, stuffed it in these 2 bags, went down to Saudi Arabia, and just opened up a competing candy store. I just remember when the doorbell would ring, I would just always be so excited. I would have such a big smile on my face because I just was excited for people to come in and look at the different things and purchase what they were excited to eat. Anyway, so growing up, I just knew that in my heart, entrepreneurship, starting a business, that's what I really loved. Then I came to the University of Denver. I remember that first business idea that I thought of during my senior year. I remember Peter Whalen takes me out for lunch, and he's like, I believe you're an entrepreneur. As soon as Peter Whalen said, entrepreneurship, I want to coach you, I want to teach you what this is all about, I just got so pumped. Like, I just knew that was it. And I chose the entrepreneurship route. And throughout that independent study, it was an independent study working directly with Peter Whalen, I was tasked with thinking of a business idea. And that is when the idea of Beanstalk was born. And to learn more about that story, check out the second episode.
We've started multiple businesses over the years. There was a time when we had way too many tax filings.
I thought we were cool, dude. We were like, yeah, man, we're like 7, 8 businesses.
Yeah, it was way too many tax filings, is what that meant. The problem was, even though we were passionate about all these different things and really liked the people we were working with, there just wasn't a sustainable business model. Like, we had to eat.
Yeah.
And we weren't making enough to pay ourselves or anything in a lot of these businesses. And that's really the problem that we see all the time is people say, oh yeah, go start a business doing what you love. Well, a big part of that though is a lot of this takes a long time to make money doing what you love. And as much as anyone wants to go out there and say that they have a vision or mission first driven business, it's really easy to say that when you have a VC giving you $10 million to bankroll the business and get your idea off the ground.
Yep.
So that's a lot different than someone who just quit their job, has $10,000 in their bank account and needs to make money today. And that's, I think, where things are lost, is people think, oh yeah, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to start a business around what I love, but they're not bankrolled.
Yep.
And it really only works if you're bankrolled. Otherwise, you got to figure out how to make some money as well. So the spectrum of where people have the ability to start a business is vast. You have poor individual, immigrant, growing up with not a lot of money, below poverty line, all the way up to the individual that has come from a trust fund or just tons of money, millions and millions of dollars. And then you have everything in between. We're not really on either end of the spectrum. We're not in the middle either. I would say we're closer to the more humble end of the spectrum.
Yep.
So at some point, you got to pivot to something to make some money, get a job on the side, or give up. I think about Tesla or Amazon. How long did it take for them to be profitable? years.
Years, of course, yeah.
But they had the backing. There was financial backing. So that's really the struggle of an entrepreneur, is money has to be funding it from somewhere. And you get money from three places. From the bank, from equity investments, which could be friends and family, could be venture capital, could be any other kind of private equity, etc. Or you get it from serving customers. The easiest of the three for most people ends up becoming, how do I get someone to actually buy something from me? Because in order to get loans from the bank, you have to prove revenue. You have to have assets to guarantee loans.
And multiple times, it's not just the first year or two. They want 5 years. They want a whole history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order to get venture capital, you need to know the right people, know influential people, know people that has money. So it ends up being that people have to figure out how to make money. For us, that meant pivoting the business and doing some extra work on the side.
And pivoting the business to a place where we necessarily didn't love what we were doing, because we started the business doing what we absolutely loved.
Telling the stories of small businesses, basically making these small documentary style films.
Educational films.
Yeah, about small businesses. We went from that to, okay, we're going to be a freelance video production company. I actually started doing taxes on the side for movies. Like I was trying to stay in the space. I didn't love it, but at least it was involved with my passion for film. I actually started working on a couple of films like Being Evil, which was directed by an Oscar award-winning director, Daniel Youngie, produced by Johnny Knoxville. And I was working in spreadsheets again. Didn't love what I was doing, but I was getting paid for it and I was in the right industry. Same thing, did the same thing for this movie called Hondros. And the list goes on and on. And then we started taking clients on for random things like a marketing video here, a training video over here, all these different things.
We started even getting into some services that were just not related. We always joke about this one, but it's part of our history. We started a digital signage service. Now what that is, we don't even know till this day.
I still don't know. But he sold it.
But I sold it. I remember I was in Greece. Oh, I got to share this story. I was in Greece and I give Johnny a call because we got an online lead. I was like, hey, Johnny, so I just closed some business. You have to go. Was it like the 9 News station where you had to film a documentary about, what was the Broncos player name?
Von Miller.
Von Miller. And there was all this like tech stuff.
No, they wanted to do this live streaming show with Von Miller. And they needed someone like the next day. So Hector's like, hey, so I just closed this deal. You got to show up. And I'm like, I know how to stream on a phone. I don't know how to professionally stream. Anyway, the point is, you kind of have to find your lane. And what we ended up doing is we ended up having a couple of training and education video projects that we absolutely loved, but this is not where we started. When we started as entrepreneurs, it was not, hey, we're going to build an e-learning company where we believe that no expertise should go unlearned. That's not where we started. We started in the very creative, telling stories. Stories matter, you matter was our tagline.
Which was rooted, and this is fun because when we think back to it, when you think about stories, what we're talking about here is it was rooted in education.
Yeah.
It's exposing
It was
the public.
educating other people
Exactly.
about businesses that were small, not mainstream, so that they could go and experience the local culture. But we did this whole like, let's do all these random things. We made some money, we stayed afloat, and then we settled into, okay, education, this is where we want to be. Education, film, business, these three passions overlap here, e-learning partners.